I'm sorry if this seems rude to you. That's the non-player. Stop it, please. Not that that's I don't believe Tom Brady. I don't believe Drew Brees. I don't think Peyton Manning is a gift that will last a lifetime. Think about this. It's morning on Friday. The Dallas Cowboys lost to the Philadelphia Eagles in the first game of the NFL season the night before. By the way, Dak Prescott did a great job on defense for the Dallas Cowboys. Definitely fell short of my hopes, and I think their new head coach is better than Mike McCarthy. That's pretty much what I think about it, in case you were asking. The Get Up crew on ESPN is criticizing CeeDee Lamb's performance, which is fair since it was a mixed bag. It should have been a normal sports discussion, but it turned into something much worse. I know that some people have different thoughts on Peter Schrager, but there is one thing that you can't question: how hard this man works. He's trying to protect CeeDee Lamb's good stat line. He's known as one of the hardest working reporters in the business, and he just started working at ESPN earlier this year. I'd normally say that 7 catches for 110 yards is a great game. If he didn't come down with 3 drops, 2 of them were very important and could have cost the Cowboys the game. But I'm getting off track. Ryan Clark totally goes off script here, and this is a very hard case to make. This is not appropriate for TV. I'm sorry if this seems rude to you. That's the view from outside the game. Stop it, please. That Lamb is not... It gets quiet in the room. Through the screen, you can feel the stress. Peter Schrager is being brave by not backing down, which he should not do. Ryan, I'm not looking at fantasy football right now. Don't put me down like that. When 3 former players say one thing, I could weigh in with a different point of view. Ryan Clark won't let this go, though. He goes even further. Please don't get mad and wait for me to finish. It wasn't about you. It was going to be about me. That's crazy gaslighting, because Peter Schrager can be mad at Ryan Clark for any reason. Every time he wants to make a point, he always ends with, by the way, I played in the NFL. Peter Schrager did the right thing when he said you were bad at NFL. That's not the point, though. Social media went crazy. In just a few hours, fans were calling for Ryan Clark to be fired. Someone wrote that working with Ryan Clark has to be so hard. He's really the worst guy in sports journalism. Someone else said that just because you played at the top level doesn't mean you know more. He is right, though. In the NFL, some of the best head coaches ever never played it down. Now, this is where it gets really funny. In Brazil, that same night, Clark was live tweeting the game between the Kansas City Chiefs and the LA Chargers. And this gem was hidden in those tweets, almost as if he was trying to sneak it in between his announcement. Justin Herbert, be a leader and be responsible with the authority at ESPN. What? Oh, on and off the air. It looks like what we saw on TV wasn't even the worst of it. This apology comes out of the blue while he's talking about batted balls and zone pressures. You'd have to say sorry for hitting someone's car while speaking on a NASCAR race. Ryan Clark has had a lot of these in the past, but I haven't paid much attention to them. That said, when you get into scandal after controversy and the NFL community is outraged, it's kind of my job to make a video about it. Quickly, we have a very important news to share. The NFL start play I shared on Instagram story got $250, and the Dak Prescott free square play looks good so far. Price Picks did give us an extra free square, though. Lamar Jackson only needs to throw 1 yard for his square to pay off. And to make the most of this chance, I'm matching him with this person. First, make sure you go to the link in the description below and sign up for Prize Picks. You can also use my promo code microphone to get $50 in lines when you make a $5 or more play. After that, you should bet on Lamar Jackson's free square and Baker Mayfield to rush for more than 14.5 yards against Atlanta. He has done this in 4 of his last 5 games. Then bet on Joe Flacco to throw for over 241.5 yards against the NFL's worst defense. I have no doubt that game will end in a shootout. You can make $150 if you put down $25. I added that we worked with Fantasy Aces to get you even more plays. These guys are always looking into the newest and best lines to give you an edge. Plus, since it's still early in the season, your chances of winning are much higher because Vegas doesn't have any statistics to base their odds on yet. If that sounds interesting to you, check out the WAP link in my description below. Thanks to Prize Picks for sponsoring today's post. If you think this is Ryan Clark's first event that caused trouble, you haven't been paying attention. Let me take you back to May 2025, just 4 months before Clark chose to wait. It was the time of one of the worst arguments in sports, the Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese argument. If you want to watch more videos about it, you can find them on my basketball channel, The Flight Mike. Robert Griffin III, who used to win the Heisman Trophy and is now a TV personality, shared a video saying that Angel Reese dislikes Caitlin Clark. Women's basketball is on because of more than one person. It's also on because of me. A lot of people said that Angel Reese was made the bad guy by me or someone else. She called herself the bad guy. I'm not making her the bad guy. She is turning herself into the bad guy. Was that a hot take? Yes. The next thing Ryan Clark did on his show, The Pivot, was pretty much against all the rules. Clark wasn't just against RG3's point of view. He went off the rails and said, the one thing we know for sure about RG3 is that he's not talking about what black women have to go through in this country at home. Then he dropped the bomb. Here, RG3, when was the last time you talked about what she's going to through with your family? It's not possible for you to do that because you've been married to white people both times. Could we take a moment to think about that? An ESPN host just brought up the wife of another man in a basketball argument. RG3's answer was quick and harsh. In life, there is a line that you never, ever cross. Sage Steele, who has had her own problems with Clark in the past, said it was rude, controversial, gross, and pointless. Ryan Clark has already moved on. Now things really start to get interesting. Several ESPN stars told Outkick that they thought the network should punish Clark. A person who did not want to be named said that RC used to play. The dressing room has two rules. You don't talk about a guy's girl or money. What did happen? CNN's biggest star, Stephen A. Smith, spoke out for Clark. I don't want to know that Ryan Clark was fired. That's not it. RC did apologize in the end and more than once. First to RG3's wife and then to his own family for being involved. He then said that his oldest daughter is mixed race, which made what he said even stranger. Some fans thought that ESPN made him say sorry. One said that ESPN called him and said, spin that apology or sign these papers. See how this is different from what happened to other ESPN stars who did something wrong. Remember Rachel Nichols in 2020? She said things and had what she thought was a private chat that Maria Taylor got the job hosting the NBA Finals because ESPN was trying to be more diverse. Those words were recorded in secret and then spread. What happened to Nichols? She was finally taken off of NBA coverage. Her ESPN show, The Jump, was canceled, and she was finally fired from the company. She was no longer working at the network. You could also go to Jameel Hill. On Twitter in 2017, she called Trump a white nationalist. Later, she said that fans should stop buying from Dallas Cowboys sponsors because of Jerry Jones's stand on the national anthem. She was kicked off of ESPN for 2 weeks, and she finally quit the network. Big Bill Simmons reported bad things about NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell in 2014, was banned, and ESPN didn't renew his contract in 2015. Please explain. Nichols is fired after making a private joke about diversity. Hill tweets about politics, gets banned, and then is no longer there. Simmons says bad things about the NFL's commissioner, so his contract doesn't get extended. While live tweeting games, Ryan Clark can talk about a coworker's wife's race, put down another coworker on live TV, and keep going as long as he says sorry in his Twitter feed. He won't get in trouble. Ryan Clark changed NFL history by saying, "Don't think Tom Brady, don't think Drew Brees, and I don't think Peyton Manning are generational talents." He did this while talking about Texas quarterback Arch Manning. The main Twitter account for the Saints replied, "His fans are once again asking for his head." One wrote that this kind of speech about sports should get you fired right away if it's your J. Look, everyone has the right to an opinion, even a bad one. But you're no longer being controversial when you say that the 7-time Super Bowl winner, all-time leader, in passing yards, and 5-time MVP aren't next-generation stars. Things are getting silly for you. It's the same as saying Michael Jordan was the best basketball player of all time. It's impossible to miss the pattern here. Clark seems to have his own set of rules at ESPN that no one else does. He does things that would end other people's jobs, and then he says these half-hearted sorries that sound more like public relations moves than real regret. After what happened with Schrager, Bobby Burrick from Outkick said it best. The last guy to disagree with Clark was shamed for marrying a white woman. When does ESPN fire him? That is a good question. After signing Clark to a new deal in February 2024, ESPN is said to pay him about $2 million a year. They've put money into him to be one of their NFL faces. But when does the debate become more important than the good? The network's flaws are very clear. Someone like Rachel Nichols will be kicked off for comments they made in private, but Clark can make a lot of public problems and never really get in trouble for it. He can use someone's marriage to black women as an example of their inability to understand black women, which is basically using race as a weapon in a sports debate, and Stephen A. Smith will support him. On national TV, he can make a coworker feel bad because they aren't past players. To fix it, all he has to do is tweet an apology hours later and then live tweet about it. What does this say to the other people who work at ESPN? Which means the rules are different for each person, that some people can't be touched and others can be thrown away. The truth is that Clark is a great football expert when he sticks to that sport. He can teach us a lot from his time as a player with the Steelers, where he won a Super Bowl in 2009. He knows how defenses work, can break down film, and adds an important player's view to the table, but he keeps hurting himself by making these pointless attacks on people and making crazy claims. It's like seeing someone who has everything keep shooting themselves in the foot. Then they were given a bandage and told to walk it off while others were taken away on a bed. And here's the really scary part. Clark himself expected other people to be responsible. Don Amos made the famous comments about the Rutgers women's basketball team. Clark's co-worker Jamil Hill said Amos should be fired because he is insulting to women and people of color all the time and should lose his job to realize there's no place for that. Where is that energy now? Where is the regularity? ESPN has to decide what to do next. It's clear that they respect professionalism, diversity, and welcoming everyone, but those ideals are lost every time Ryan Clark causes another scandal and doesn't really face any consequences. In essence, they're saying that you can do whatever you want as